Hey guys, it's Rancy and Simone, and today I am here with the book A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I am going to do a review on it now. So before I get into the review, two things. One, this video will have spoilers in it, but I will let you know when the spoilers are, and I'll do the recommendations before the spoilers hit. Thing number two is this book, it is categorized as YA. You can find it in the YA section at your bookstore, but it is not a YA book. It is new adult. However, that does not mean that I think teens should not be able to read this book. Of course, if you're a teen who is mature and you have the consent of your parents or whoever you need consent from, if that's just yourself, I don't know. I think that it's perfectly fine for you to seek out this book and read it. I just would have preferred if this book was in the fantasy section, like, Game of Thrones or Captive Prince or anything else that has explicit sex scenes, versus the young adult shelf, because I was not expecting that shit. Now onto the review. Let's talk about characters. So Feyre, she's our main character. The book starts out with her living in this really poor and impoverished place. Her family has fallen from an economic status of the haves all the way down to the we ain't got nothing that the have-nots got. So they're really poor. She is like 19 or 18, and she has to go out to the woods to find food for her family. Lo and behold, one day she shoots a wolf in the eye. It turns out to be a fairy. Big old fairy man comes knocking at the door like, boom, 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 bitch, you done killed my friend. Rules are either I kill you or you have to come live with me for forever. And that's where our story starts. So this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I forgot everything that happened in Beauty and the Beast. It was not my favorite movie growing up. So I completely forgot about all of the plot elements that go into that. So Feyre, I think I've been calling her Farah. Whatever, y'all. Her name is spelled F-R-E-R, okay, F-E-Y-R-E or F-R-E-Y-R-E. Like, bitch's name is Feyruh, F-A-Y-R-U-H. Mass has this thing about, like, character names. They be spelled all funky, but they, like, are something real simplistic, and it just boggles my mind. Now, the issue I had with Feyre on a personal level is Chick is kind of dumb. In the beginning, she kind of comes off as a Katniss Evergreen. She is for doing shit for her family, except for her family is... Let's not even talk about them right now. But as the story progresses, because she has this stubbornness about her and this, like, shield up and this wall up, like, surrounding her, she makes a lot of dumb decisions, which are completely understandable considering who she is, what she had to grow up with, her family's surroundings, and the way that she kind of lives life. Feyre does have sexual relationships in this book, and I can't wait to get onto those, but I'm going to save them for the plot. So let's move on to the other characters. Let's talk about the main male character, that's Tamlyn. Throughout the beginning of the book, he is very standoffish. He's kind of two-faced. You're really unsure of how to take him, especially because this is told through Feyre's perspective. It is in the first person. So everything that she says is considerably unreliable. All of his hot, cold, and strange moments become extremely understandable once the plot is kind of revealed. So for character authenticity, I give them both like a complete 10 out of 10. They're really well done for the people that they are. Does that mean that they're likable characters or good characters or people? That's all subjective. That's up to you guys. I personally thought Feyre was stupid and Tamlyn is a user, so all that's up to you guys. But they are authentic, and I really did enjoy this story based on their authenticity. Let's talk about all the side characters. There's Lucien, Alice. In general, I really liked all the side characters. I thought they were really fleshed out and really done well. Lucien was probably one of my favorite characters who was more personable because he didn't really have anything at stake. Feyre's a little bit on the bland side. Tamlyn's a bit on the weird side. And all her sisters, her dad, they're on the loser side. The main villain is probably where I dock points for authenticity. I thought the main villain didn't really make all that much sense, but a lot of that goes into world building as well, so we'll get into that in world building. And the other character who was a bit villainous, I actually really adored him. I liked it. I love moral ambiguity, so don't get me wrong. I don't think that he's an amazing human being or a fairy. However, I do think that this character is an amazingly developed character, as in the person they are. The decisions that go into what people do with this character, what happens with this character, that's all subject to judgment. However, I do think this extra character is really interesting and adds some depth to it. That's Rice. I'm calling him Rice. I know his name is Rhysand, but I'm calling him Rhysand for personal reasons. Don't ask. So for characters, I give this a whopping like 4 to 5 out of total. And I told you the villain is the reason why I kind of dock character authenticity a little bit. So let's move on to world building, and then we'll go on to plot. World building. I thought this world was really interesting at some points, and then sometimes it kind of lost me. The writing itself can be kind of tough to get through. Like, guys, 66% of this book was really fucking slow. It was really slow, but it's authentic. I'll get to that in plot. But I do want to mention that the writing sometimes really either pulled me into the world or made me just like roll my eyes and just want to die, because there's a lot of painting references and there's a lot of shredding ribbons and shit, and I was just like, can we do something else for once? So there were moments in this book, like during festivals, where I thought the place was really lush. I could hear music, I could taste things, I could see things. This bitch was eating food all the time. I thought there was a lot in there, a lot of little details that really brought out the world. However, the world building on a magical scale kind of fell for me. I did not really understand the magical system in this, and I feel like it's okay because Feyre doesn't really understand it. However, there were points in time where it just was too overwhelmingly confusing for me, and it made me feel like things just weren't lining up enough for it to be excused. For instance, a lot of this had to do with the big overarching plot of this, the way that the events went down and how people were able to use magic. Like, sometimes people could throw glamour on other people and things would be fine, and powerful people couldn't sense that. And I was just really confused as to why some things were so easy and some things weren't for some people, and what kind of magic these people had. Some people seem to be all powerful yet have no magic, or weren't able to use it sometimes but could other times. It was just really conflicting, and I thought that it needed to be fleshed out a little bit more. So I gave world building authenticity a 4 out of 5 for the most part. I don't know, I'm really iffy on it, but for the most part, the world building authenticity was pretty big. Let's get into plot. So as far as plot goes, I thought 66% of this book was gonna kill me. I was so tired, I hated it, I really pushed myself through it, mainly because everyone else kept telling me that book number 2 is amazing, it's really good, or by the end of the book, it's worth it. So I really pushed myself through it, and it was worth it. There wasn't enough satisfying payoff to make that 66% like absolutely dreadful, but okay to live through. I would never read this book again. I'd probably start at like 100 and some pages in. However, I will say that it was worth it. It did make sense. Now, I wasn't going to dock plot at all because it is authentic to itself. The reason why 66% of this book feels so jarring and sluggish is because Feyre needs that time, and it's very realistic to be able to adapt to her surroundings and to adapt to the new environment and the new people around her. However, I think that Mask could have utilized that time to world build and to really introduce Feyre into other characters and really make her interact a lot more with other characters, maybe, because that would have made that 66% a little more consumable and a little less dreadful. I think if she was just a little bit more creative with how she utilized that time to build other aspects, it would have really helped to build up the world a lot better and to surround her, and then we could have seen that smooth transition even better into her being, you know, like, damn, Faye, I don't like Faye, into, you know, okay, I guess y'all all right. However, now thinking about it, I can't really dock this for that because, again, the way that it is now, it is authentic. I just was bored through it. So personally, I would dock it, but objectively, I wouldn't, because it's logical. So overall, I would give this book like a 4.5 out of 5. It's really high up there on the quality scale. As I said, personally, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. It's a hot mess. These characters are like, oh my god. Feyre is a hot mess. I do not think that she's a role model for anybody. I mean, she's not like the worst person ever by any means. I just think she likes to put herself into extremely dangerous situations. And I just don't understand how somebody could be that stupid sometimes. It's not for the fault of writing. It's literally a personality flaw. But I really loved following her around and seeing all the hot, sticky messes she got herself into, and some of the hot, sticky messes Tamlyn got himself into. So I did enjoy it. I think it does open up a lot of discussions to be had about healthy sexual relationships, because Feyre, and this is something I do like, as a teen, she is sexually active. She is sexually active when this book starts, and I love the way that she thinks about it and how she goes about it. It's not a big deal. It's just, you know, something she does. I also love how unhealthy these sexual relationships are in this book. Not because I think it's glorified. I don't think it is. I think this chick gets into enough messes on her own to show people that it's not healthy. Would I ever want to be in Feyre's shoes? No. Well, first of all, I just wouldn't be that dumb. Second, I can't be around people who would be treating me like that. I'd be like, no. But do I love getting a glimpse of her life? Yes. And I will definitely be reading book 2. I am on that now, and whoo, Lord have mercy. I cannot stress again how this should not be on the YA shelf. I think if you're okay with reading stuff like that, you would definitely love this book. If you love trashy, messy ass like situations, you're gonna love this book. I loved it. If you're a parent and you're wondering if your child would like this because it's Beauty and the Beast, I mean, use discretion. If your kid is mature and they're okay, if you've read it and you're like, ah, that's not so bad, then fine. However, if you're one of them parents who's like, you need to go to bed, it's 8 o'clock, don't be giving your child this book. This is not the book for your child. If you like fairies, you're gonna like this. If you like different kinds of fairies besides just the beautiful looking ones, if you like the moral ambiguity of the situation, this book is definitely something to pick up. If you're into romance or aggressive type romances, you're probably going to really enjoy this book. If you definitely don't like moral ambiguity, when there is someone being aggressive in a sexual situation and someone is enjoying it even though they're saying no, or that type of gray area, don't read this book. That's going to infuriate you, because Feyre is definitely someone who plays coy, and boundaries are blurred very easily in this book because of that, because you have an aggressive person and someone who plays it kind of coy and likes the game of the chase and who like invites things like that. So if you're really sensitive to that, or you've been in situations like that and you prefer to stay away from things like that, don't read this book. So guys, now I'm gonna go ahead and just do a separate video that has the spoilers, so you can check that out. There I'll be uploading these both at the same time. See you in the next video. TTYL, so for now, bye.